People of 30s, what is it you regret not doing in your 20s? Making more friends after college. Your old social circle gets smaller and smaller as friends get married or if kids move away, and you have to really try to meet new people if you don't want to spend your weekends alone. It's worse if you yourself move away and basically have to build a new social circle from scratch. Yes, and that's why cultivating making new friends as a personal skill set is so important. I have some friends who do gig work around the world and have gotten very good at it, and I really admire them. Their wedding was full of lovely people I'd never met, united by a pretty consistent vibe and their fondness for the couple. Stretching. My flexibility has gone downhill in a rapid fashion in my 30s. I should have taken up yoga. I'm still a brick wall if anyone messes with me, but I've got the movement of a rock and sock and robot nowadays. I regret. 1. Not traveling more, even though I did travel a lot, mostly Europe. I am catching up in my 30s, as soon as COVID lets me. 2. Not investing more in myself, physically and mentally. 3. Not looking out for myself more. I've been helping others too much, at the cost of my own self. 4. Not losing weight sooner. I've been overweight for a bigger part of my life, and it wasn't until I was 26 that I finally decided to get rid of the excess body mass. Now I have loose skin to deal with. If I figured it out sooner, I wouldn't have to. 5. Not figuring out earlier that chasing women is a waste of time. Focus on yourself. If they want to be in your life, let them, but never chase anyone. Being more adventurous. Being stuck in my shell and foregoing opportunities with friendships and sex for being too stuck in my head. Being me more and stop trying to be what I thought people wanted me to be. I would have had way more success in life had I done that earlier. Keeping in shape. I prioritized work instead of health, and now I'm 32 and have back pain, and I'm overweight and dealing with that. 1. Although I made some progress from my teenage years, I didn't take care of myself enough. Hygiene, workout, dental care, learning what to wear, all could use more attention. 2. Learning languages. It used to come easy, got somewhat harder in my 20s, so rather than increasing effort, I gave up. 3. Money management. I was raised to believe that money disappears, or is taken away, if not used, so until late 20s I had the strange habit of trying to balance my earnings and spending to end up around zero, with some margin for emergencies. Stupid. 4. I should have kept the Bitcoin I got when it was only starting. I chickened out too soon. Exercising. I'm not out of shape, but I've only taken it more seriously over the past year. I'm 30, and I feel like I could have been in great shape if I took it up when I was 25 or so. I used to joke about not being especially fit, but my mindset has changed a bit. I'm physically able to get fit, but my attitude was stopping me. I might get to a point in life where I do have some physical limitations, so it's best to start while I still can. Also traveling more, and not caring so much what people think about me. Very early 20s, still in college, wish I socialized way more. Was always pretty introverted so didn't go to many parties until senior year. Missed out on many social connections and potential relationships. Also wish I focused on finding internships or research opportunities, which would help in getting a job way sooner. Took me 2 years after school to find my first full-time job. Also wish I got to do more traveling during that time off. Mid-late 20s, attempting to socialize while I still had the energy. Wish I looked for shared interest groups and tried to meet more people. Similarly, I wish I dated a lot more. Part of that is just me being ugly and antisocial, but I probably could have tried harder when I still had some social skills from college. Again, also wish I did more traveling between jobs when I had some money saved up. In general, I would say put yourself in positions where you can use any social skills and intelligence retained after college, because if you don't use it, you will lose it. Same with staying active and getting fit. This could vary by person, but I'll also remind you that you don't need to rush into relationships. You can focus on yourself and take things as they come. A lot of what I feel I missed out on had to do with being tied down either with a relationship or a job, and while I don't necessarily regret having those things, I am constantly torn by the regret of missing out on things because of it. Not gonna lie, growing up is tough, much tougher than school ever was. Turn 30 next month. Regret not dating more. Regret not saving money or investing more than not dating. I regret not sleeping around more. I got into a serious relationship with the woman I would end up marrying at 19, and I feel like I missed out on experiences a lot of guys my age had. Hey man, there are guys out there regretting not getting into that serious relationship and choosing to fool around. Everyone thinks they want something because they never had it. I think you should thank 19-year-old you. He chose the long game. Investment funds. I was already 27 when I actually invested, bought a house. Wish I slowed down to enjoy it more. My 20s was pretty much consumed by college and then graduate school, so I was very stressed and hyper-focused on that stuff. Sleeping with more older women. I was an oblivious young guy and missed all the cues of the horny older sheiks that wanted to touch my wiener. It would have been glorious. Drugs? No, seriously. I regret never doing mind-altering drugs with people I know and trust. Nothing like cocaine or anything like that, but LSD or shrooms. I was a prude growing up and never let myself be around that. Now, I have no idea how to get a hold of such things, and regret not finding someone to help me along the way. I regret not enlisting in the army, being too scared to fail, not putting effort into my education and personal growth. I definitely regret being too hung up on my height and size. I really regret not trying to ask out girls I thought knew were way out of my league. I regret not saving money, moving out earlier and thinking I was worthless. I regret not being a better brother or being a better person. I regret letting go of values I had. It took a lot of time for me to let go and finally turn things around. I'm 29 but I'll slip my pre-30s advice in here. Don't get hung up on your career so early in your 20s. Your 20s are all about taking gambles, going traveling, experiencing life abroad, not being committed. Don't make the foolish mistake that you were meant to have your shit together and you need to be responsible. That's what your 30s are for. My biggest regret is staying in a job where I thought I would climb the ladder. I missed out on joining my buddies on a 6-month travel, spent my evenings doing extra work as you thought it would matter. I turned down so many nights out. I missed out on a lot of great stories my mates now laugh about and discuss over a few beers because I got so caught up in what I thought was important. TLDR, don't waste your 20s thinking you need to be responsible. I wish I spent more money. I was making 6 figures by 25, invested a lot, lost it all when I divorced, lost my furtive but in exchange I got full custody of my daughter. Worth it. The ex lives in a trailer now. But if I could go back I'd spend every dime. Save money, don't treat yourself as often as you do, have more sex, try to make long-lasting relationships with people whom you share interests with. You'll want to need friends later in life as your circle grows older and the distance grows between people as people get jobs and move away or get married, have kids, etc. Before I had a real job and commitments, my friends and I used to talk all the time about going to Europe for a few weeks. We always had an excuse not to, but never a really good one. Now it would be much harder to take the time to do that. Saving money, investing, putting money in a retirement fund. Don't wait on learning how to get more money or manage whatever money you have. It's easier to start when you're young and relatively free of obligations than when you've already got kids. 1. Should have gone vegan and eating plant-based way earlier. 2. Should have watched Cosmos earlier, learning about astronomy and science. 3. Saving money. 4. Staying sober in the weekends and do actual fun stuff with friends, instead of getting drunk and shit at clubs, hopelessly trying to end up with a girl. 5. Quitting football, soccer, because I'm prone to injuries and doing light exercises like walking, hike and light yoga. 6. Meditation. 7. Buying 3,000 bitcoins. But I was so much older then. I'm young than that now. I was way too serious. But my biggest regret is a combination of fake optimism and not taking charge of my life. My life has more or less been shit from the start. I had 0 friends in high school. As a refugee I had no clue about American culture and so had nothing in common with kids and could not figure out people. Plus, being a refugee I had PTSD from the age of 3. I just let life happen hoping someday things would get better. Well, guess what, they didn't. Even though I got into a prestigious university, it turns out a person who was unable to make friends in high school turns into a person with 0 friends in college. By the time I graduated college, I was beyond miserable with like one friend. Instead of finally waking up and trying to figure out who the hell I was, be honest with myself, I still kept my head down and went to law school. Guess what? A person with 0 friends in high school and college turns into someone with 0 friends in law school. So my advice to anyone who is lost in their 20s living their parents' dreams like me, take a year off, figure out who the hell you are and what you like, live life, get drunk, find your tribe, and most importantly be strong enough once you found it to be proud of it. Not taking more risks. I'm eldest of the family, so took up family business and most of the family responsibility. In this process became a nanny. I should have taken more risks and become a tad bit more selfish. I feel I wouldn't have felt like I'm stuck in a vicious cycle of sensible behavior, had I done those things. Finishing school. I started and stopped and failed and quit and got emotional because I didn't want to do it. Now that I'm in my 30s, it's clear that my life and my family's lives would be so much better if I had just finished school and gotten a degree. I would be earning more money, which would have kept me out of debt and given my children more life opportunities. It's something I struggle with and regret daily and have never forgiven myself for. Don't quit school. I regret not developing a career and just moving from job to job through all of my 20s. I also regret not traveling often and not going to many concerts. I really wish I got to see Chris Cornell live. I should have also continued working out after high school. I tried in the beginning, but without a team to run and lift with, it was too hard, but I should have pushed through it. I regret not developing a career and just moving from job to job through all of my 20s. I also regret not traveling often and not going to many concerts. I really wish I got to see Chris Cornell live. I should have also continued working out after high school. I tried in the beginning, but without a team to run and lift with, it was too hard, but I should have pushed through it. Being single. I was in long-term relationships the majority of my 20s and now in my 30s. I wish I had stayed single then. I regret not having a wedding. Don't mistake that for not getting married. If you find the one, go for it. I'm saying don't have a large celebration. You are paying a fortune to feed other people, get drunk and go have sex. Get a small, family wedding, and get married. Take that money and put it into your future in some way. Yeah, I've realized no matter how much one spends, people still talk shit about the dresses or the cake, so it's better to invite the really close ones and save that money or invest some of it. I regret not listening to those in their 30s and 40s when they talked and gave advice. My life would be immeasurably better if I had. Everything they said was true, but I was too stupid to listen. I regret not buying a house when I could have, but my biggest regret is not doing more things out of my comfort zone. I definitely did stuff. I traveled young and partied lots, but I feel I always played it safe. I wish I would have went to the small random things I decided against and just stayed home and smoked some pot for the night. Not investing in crypto. Heard about BTC when it was around $380 and didn't see the value in it. Sleepy face. Being authentic with others. I was so wrapped up in getting other people to like me that I was like a social chameleon for most of my 20s. I would change my personality, opinions, and behavior to fit with whoever I was with. It actually worked very well. People did like me for the most part, but those relationships were built on sand. These friends would ditch me at a moment's inconvenience because there was no genuine connection between us. Just me people pleasing. I was lonely beyond belief, desperate for acceptance and validation. Eventually I started showing my full self with less reservation, including the side of myself that might be off-putting. Everyone has difficult, controversial qualities after all. I opened the door to the awkward social situations this might create and worked on accepting the fact that some people just won't like me. The friends I have now are the real deal, and I'm way more comfortable socially than I was my entire 20s. Eating healthy and limiting sugar intake. I've since been eating healthy and limiting sugar and have lost 50 pounds, but did it as a result of being diagnosed diabetic. People in your 20s, please take care of yourself. I used to airways think, I'm 25 years old, I've got time to take care of myself. No you don't. 35-38 sneaks up on you in a hurry. I will be turning 30 in about a month now. Looking back, I have little regrets except for one. I regret not getting my Class A CDL sooner. Got it when I was 26. I can only think of how much money I've missed out on in the 5 years I went without getting in. Income difference for those 5 years is about $150,000.